Hey everyone, back for video 4 of 6 of the bonus quadratics in quarantine. Today we're going to graph using the x-intercepts, sort of a review lesson. We've done this already, but we'll go over it again. So just as a reminder, in order to graph using the y-intercepts, we want to be in factored form. Our R and our S are our x-intercepts. That's where our parabola will cross the x-axis, and they are otherwise known as the zeros. So let's review a couple of those questions, apply it to a word problem, and call it a day. So we have a parabola here in standard form. We want to change it into factored form. So we can man this out. Our two numbers have to multiply to -6 and add to 1. And our numbers are going to be 3 and -2. So x plus 3, x minus 2. We can figure out what the x's are by setting both of these to 0. So x is -3, and x minus 2 equals 0, so x is equal to 2. We can also find the vertex. So the vertex, of course, the way we find that is we're going to find the axis of symmetry between these 2 points. So find the vertex, let's find the axis of symmetry, which is r plus s divided by 2. So our axis of symmetry is at -1/2. So we have something like this. We have a point at 0 at 2. We have 1 at -3. And we have our axis of symmetry here at -1/2. So if this is 0, this would be 1. Or -1, -2. So it's crossing at 1/2. The only thing that we want to find out now is where the vertex is along this axis of symmetry. And of course we can sub this back into our original equation. So I've subbed in a -1/2 in for my x's. And beginning to simplify, square the top, -1 times -1 is 1, square the bottom, 2 times 2 is 4. We need common denominators here in order to subtract our fractions. And we get an answer like that. So that's telling us that down here so if this is -6 and this is -7 on our y-axis, -6 1/4 would be 1/4 of the way between the two. And we end up with a parabola that looks like that. All right, once again, let's find the x-intercepts, the vertex, and graph this. So once again, we can man this out, multiply to get +1, add to get +2. Our numbers are 1 and 1. Hopefully you all recognize this is one of our special scenarios. And so this is our x value. So because we only have one x value, that tells me that right here at -1, we have a point, we only have 1, 0. I can see that this graph is opening upwards, and there's no stretch or compression because I don't have an a value out here. So this is going to be an over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4, over 3, up 9, and likewise on the other side. To actually do the math, to find the vertex here, if we have to, we can do our r plus s divided by 2, -1 plus -1 divided by 2 equals -2 over 2, which equals -1. Therefore, our vertex is at -1, 0. And how did I get to 0? If we sub -1 back into our equation, we'll get 0. So we can do the math just like on a previous question. All right, let's continue on here with an example. So we have an arch, which is 100 meters wide and 20 meters tall. We want to sketch it. And in this case, we're going to sketch it with the vertex on the y-axis. B, let's get an equation in factored form. And C, let's calculate the height of the arch 15 meters from an end. So first of all, if our vertex is on the y-axis, that means that our axis of symmetry is there as well. Because this is 100 meters wide, we're going to have an arch that looks like this, and our 0 here is going to be at 50, and our other 0 here will be at -50. This being 100 meters wide, and we know that our vertex here is at 0, 20. So there's our sketch done. Our equation in factored form is the height is equal to a x minus r x minus s. We know our zeros, and we know our height. So 20 is the height, x plus 50, x minus 50. And we need to determine the a, whether there is a stretch or a compression. You do not need this line, just simplifying it so you can see what we are going to multiply together. So 50 times -50 is -2500 times a. So 20 equals this. Getting a on its own, we'll move the times -2500 to the other side. It becomes a divided by -2500, and a is equal to -0.008. So we have a compression. So therefore, our equation is h is equal to -0.008 x plus 50 x minus 50. And the fact that we have a negative here makes sense to us. Our parabola, our parabolic arch, is facing downwards. Now we did have a part C here. Find the height of the arch 15 meters from one end. So 15 meters from one end is either going to be right here at 35, 0, or over here at minus 35, 0. So we can use one of those two to find the height. So let's use 35, 0. So h is equal to negative 0.008. Subbing in that for x, 35 plus 50, 35 minus 50. So just subbing in for x on our formula. So the height will be 10.2. So at this point here, we can see the height is 10.2, and because our parabolic arch or parabola is symmetrical on the axis of symmetry, we also know at this point, 15 meters in from the end, we'll have a height of 10.2 as well. All right, that is it.